feel like he's still incredibly effective, even though he's seeing less play now.
Yeah, Ganesh, I think those four pillars are always nice. They can do so much damage. That's something about Ganesh, and then also very that passive, the passive on Ganesh. I really love that passive because you'll be playing with the support player, and then they'll get that last hit, and you're just sitting there like, oh. But with Ganesh, you don't have to worry about any of that. So I think Ganesh is always at least a decent choice. And then with these bans, banning on her and Nike, and then Susano and Daji.
Yeah, I mean, getting the Daji off the table makes it to where King's Court are going to have a harder decision to make for their jungle role. And I wish I knew more about these players, but it being so early on, I can't tell whether or not that's a Susano ban out of respect for the god themselves, or if it's a targeted ban against the King's Court jungle. We'll just have to see after here in game number one to see how everything develops, if it's King's Court's jungle falling through because they just can't get the god they need, as some of us jungle players know very well, or if it was brought about through just pure respect for that god itself.
Yeah, and then BKC haven't not picked a jungler yet, so that's why they're banning all that. But I'm very interested to see who they go here for jungle.
Apollo. Locking in an Apollo here. Wait, we have not seen many Apollos in quite some time. Okay, yo, I know you have a preference for that jungle role. Do you think that Apollo is going ADC? Oh, they do have Athena. Oh my goodness. Production just corrected me. I was like getting so hyped in my mind. Athena could go solo.
Fan solo would go hard, you know? I mean, Apollo going in that ADC role, I'm just gonna assume. We can't be too sure, but I think Apollo going into that ADC role, it does add, because his rotates are so massive. I mean, the only one that's comparable to that, I think Chernobog does rotate a little better than Apollo, but Apollo does have that cross world ult that just makes him so good at those rotates. And
Ooh,
yeah, and then
speaking of, yeah, seems like we may be seeing quite a bit of global pressure all throughout this game with the Cherno lock-in. That means both ADCs potentially have global ultimates and the jungles with that Thor lock-in. Tail as old as time, Thor versus Thanatos in the jungle slots.
yeah, that happens all the time. If I pick Thor, I'm always against the Thanatos. I don't pick Thanatos, but if I did, I would assume I faced quite a bit of Thors. Um, and then hovering that Bacchus, which I'm assuming, Kuzumbo solo. I have been seeing that a lot more recently in casuals. I think with the buff to Conduit and then just being able to dash people through wave is just such a huge buff. Oh, and then they go Odin.
How are we feeling about this? How are we feeling about this?
Um, so it's gonna be Odin versus Osiris. So Osiris should win that lane.
Yeah, the
I'm
lane goes Osiris heavy, right?
yeah, I'm believing so. Unless a shock happens, I'm thinking that Osiris should dominate the lane here. But that Odin cage will be interesting to see how he uses it. I don't feel Odin's too great right now, but I'm interested to see what's gonna happen.
What I like about it is that he's going up against this double ADC composition, meaning that he can lock away a large amount of the potential damage of the King's Court in any given interaction, right? As long as he finds one or both of the ADCs, they're locked away, they're sequestered for quite some time, and it relies upon a Shell to get them out. And Shell has been a bit less valuable versus other seasons. Uh, it's gonna be a stressful game for the King's Court if Odin can perform. And I think that's the general if, right? Because Odin is a god that requires you to play the game differently.
Yeah, I mean him being like he's completely late game oriented. So that's going to be very interesting to see how they do. I think I'd like to see this Than. I don't know. I kind of would prefer. I'd like to see this Than go through duo lane more, though, because I don't think there's any world where this Osiris is losing this Odin in lane, unless this Than is just sitting on this Odin. But but yeah, I mean, even if Than and Odin, let's say Than ganks that, they have the Churn over there. Churn can out rotate that Apollo 10 times out of 10. So I think seeing that Churn, see how he does his rotates is going to be very interesting. And then also the Thor.
Oh, I mean, Thor, Cherno, Sobek, Chiron, Osiris. I don't think there's any portion of this team drafted here by the King's Court that has you scratching your head. It all just makes sense. Now, in combination, they don't really have any major setups. But here's the thing: when they just blast, blast, blast with left clicks coming out from Osiris, Chiron, and Cherno, have great kind of CC coming out from Thor and Sobek. Uh, it's gonna be a rough one here for the Food Fighters, from my opinion. Who are you favoring so far?
The King's Court, they don't have a Thanatos. No, I'm joking.
That's a good reason.
Yeah, I think the King's Court just have a. I think they did just. I think they won the draft here. I really do. Cherno with the world being able to rotate so well. Thor is gonna be doing Thor things. CC, all that nice stuff, and Osiris gonna win that lane.
Let's see it, folks. Who's gonna win game number one, King's Court versus the Food Fighters, down here in the Shallows division? Once again, folks, my name's Really Reed. We're joined here by Yo-Yo Tapote. Am I saying that correctly? I asked at the beginning.
Yeah, it's Yo-Yo Tap Out. But
Tap
you can
out?
just call me Yo-Yo or Tap Out, either one. Yeah, and then Churn going to Mannequins. That's an interesting start. I mean, it's going to give them
Wait a
very
second
good
here.
clear.
Oh,
Oh,
in a world where they stole that.
I, it was close. It was really, really close. I mean, giving that clear with Mannequins, they did have a good shot at stealing it. So honestly, I think that Apollo should be having a sigh of relief right now.
Speaking of invasions here, Thanatos coming in early, misses the death scythe here, meaning that Thor has the advantage when it comes to cooldowns, maybe not towards health. Missing the hammer as well means that we've reset back to neutral, but Thoth wants to get involved, getting a root off. No follow-up here. Kind of a strange encounter there. Neither side really used to what was going on there. Both kind of looking for an advantage, but neither finding it.
Yeah, that was interesting. The Than finishes camps early. He was going to go try to invade. I don't know. Maybe he was thinking that maybe that Thor was gonna go try and rotate to duo, but he tried that invade. No, he probably definitely hurt him. But but yeah, I mean, that was a very interesting encounter. And Thor is going over that duo lane, which is interesting. He's gonna go probably do that Naga. If I were to assume.
Yeah, we oftentimes see these jungles kind of hover over here in the dual lane early. The kind of particular thing here is that Thanatos is coming that way as well. Soon we'll have all three of each team member here just kind of diving into this lane. Good catch on the dash from the Ganesha. That's going to be first blood by the Cherno, and no significant response coming out from Thanatos means they get away with it too. That's a great start for King's Court.
Yeah, I mean, Sobek hitting that pluck was so massive. I think that was just, yeah, that just secured the kill, and it was beautiful. Honestly, it was a beautiful pluck, and then again here in solo, we're seeing this Osiris winning the lane. He has this Odin backing up, even though he didn't clear the wave yet, which is very cool.
Very cool. Yes, I agree. This Cyrus has been putting up great work over in that soul, and it's going to be hard for Rim Cleaner to kind of enter back into this game in a significant way until we get towards those 12-minute marks, that maybe even 8-minute mark as the teleporter comes online. More and more of the board will kind of change. The map will provide more opportunity for this Odin to get involved. But until then, he's biding his time and hoping his blue buff doesn't get stolen. Templar looking over that way, but not quite finding the opportunity. Just a second too late on the respawn.
I think they just stole the purple there. Yeah, yeah, good
Very
job for
nice.
them. But I do want to point out something, as you can see, because the Thor is hovering over there and was waiting for that purple, he does have a level deficit on this Than right now, by 2 levels right now. So that means Than has his ult ready, but Thor is only level 4.
This could
Uh,
mean big things, especially here in the mid lane. As we can see, Wrecking Logic is about halfway into this lane. Thanatos could come in here with a blink. Asteroid coming down. Logic may not see it. Silence goes out. Misses the Death Scythe again. Yeah, potential for great setup there, but it doesn't seem like Noxus is in the right headspace quite yet.
yeah, I mean, and if you noticed that Thoth was completely out of mana, so it he didn't really have that potential to root, which would have been really massive
Mm.
if he would have gotten that root off. I think that would have helped Noxus at least hit the scythe there. I think that would have been quite massive for that. Um, yeah. Oh, Noxus is going for an invade right now. Let's see if they catch him out on this. I don't think they do because they're just splitting buffs. They don't hear a thing, and I think
Yeah.
he just completely gets the mask. And
Noxus also has ultimate in hand, can kind of get out of the situation. Rim Cleaner's looking fine. They might even go for a setup here over onto the Osiris. Pulling the Naga for right now. Thor coming around that corner, potentially wants to get a stun off into a nice hammer combo. Noxus pulls away with just a bit of his health chunked away. Still finding a great bit of farm. And I think that's a particularly interesting thing right now to kind of focus on, to lean upon for right now. We are seeing about 1,000 gold deficit go the way of the King's Court. And you may be saying they're a kill ahead, but it shouldn't be that significant.
yeah.
Ooh!
Ooh.
I thought he was out! I was like, I was taking a breath. I thought he was good. I thought the Thor was going to take to the sky. Massive damage coming out from Noxus with that Death Scythe. The nerfs seen to Thanatos don't seem to really result in much of a difference. This guy still slaps.
Yeah, Than's always gonna hit, especially as long as he has that one going. Him going and getting that mask was very crucial actually. So well, not for that kill necessarily, but he got that mask, and then the second he went back up to his jungle, his mask was already back up. So that shows how long that Thor was over there in dual lane just hovering and wasn't really farming. Because that whole right side was completely up for, I think it was like, it had enough time for that mask to come up. So I think that mask comes up every minute 30 seconds, something like that. And so that means that's been up for a minute and 30 seconds. and he was just doing that. I mean, at least he did get that purple, but it did end up leading to his death. So this jungle is going to be something
Rim Cleaner getting soloed off by, I believe that's the blue buff there. Oh no,
Oh,
Rim Cleaner.
ooh, for for already not great early game. That's not what you want to see. Because that Odin's really should just be holding off, trying not to die. At least that Osiris didn't get any credit at all for it. So I guess there's a pro
Like
in
back.
that.
Gets the blue,
Yeah.
backs off, I guess.
Yeah, he didn't even. He just now cleared his blue, so I guess he died on it, and he came back, got it.
Oh, he didn't get the hula hoop either. I thought it was real bad. I thought he got the hula hoop and then also died. That could have been real bad for the Rim Cleaner. Neither way, though, here, how do you feel about the overall builds here into that solo lane? We do see that traditional kind of Horn Shard on the Odin here. Meanwhile, Osiris looking for that Golden Shard. We got Mystical Mail onto the Odin. And Sobek lurking in the wing here, not looking for anything too much, just looking for a quick meal. But he's going back into it. That's a leap from Odin. This could be a good turn for Sobek. Lands the pluck, doesn't get the slow off. There's a Thanatos blinking over the side as that Sobek will go down to the tower and the Thanatos together. Tether onto the Thanatos, just trying to push him off now. Templar Tyrant still looking healthy, has the mitigations coming from his passive, wants to pull back here, and seems to be in a safe enough position. Oh, he went back in. But he is going to be fine. This is that greatness of Osiris, especially early on.
And he still has that ult up just in case if he needs to get away. He can just ult away. You're talking about that build. I mean, Golden Shard's just they can nerf it, but just having that midi Golden Blade is just so nice. And then Thoth going in and stealing the mid.
Thoth dash. Thoth dash into the Sobek just gets deleted. Has to be a mispressed. Pluck comes up on the Thanatos. Can they react in time? Gets a slow off as Thanatos goes into the air, about half HP. Speedy takes this opportunity to go ahead and take that farm back that he lost to Thanatos prior.
Yeah, there is a little deficit over there still in level, but he is coming in trying to get that farm back up. He did just steal the green, which is good to see. They're now the same level. After that death and then going 2-0, he really does need to get back up a little bit. Yeah, Osiris getting the prosthetic cloak. You're gonna see like guys like Fine OK and stuff like that building that. And then Warrior's Axe.
Yeah. That prophetic close is something I would love to talk about here, because it's oftentimes a lot of these high-end solos will build it, but it's hard to really say if it's worthwhile, because it takes so long for it to come online. Now, of course, with as much as Cyrus wants to box, he may be able to stack up those physical traits, but it's going to take a while to get the magical protections. Hold on, speaking of protections here, does Odin get away? Not quite. Rim Cleaner going down into his own tower as Speedy comes over that side with just a stun, lining up Osiris perfectly.
Yeah, that was a beautiful play by Jungler and Solo there. Jungler getting that stun was very crucial, and then
or in the air, takes that teleport, is looking for someone to crash down upon, not too sure if he wants to go for the tower. Instead, chooses to go into the jungle, looking for more farm. Thanatos takes notice, starts swinging his own way. Sobek gets hold off. Now Thanatos versus is the Thor, lands the Death Slide, mooses the stun. Now Sobek coming around the corner, has a Ganesh right behind him. Do they want to turn this into anything here? Stun into the Sobek, plucks on out, moves away, just trying to play it safe. Neither side is overcommitting to this fight right now.
Yeah, I mean, Sobek's dash is just so good for getting him out. Yeah, it's very excellent for that. I mean, Ganesh's dash is also very good. So yeah, that dash allows him to be able to overextend and be able to at least be a little bit more into that jungle without really having to pay too much for it, which leads to him being able to escape.
Yeah. I mean, this Sobek has been proving himself to be very critical to the overall King's Court game plan thus far. Hold that thought. Dharmic Pillars coming on out. Seems like they're trying to wrap up this Sobek a bit here with the CC chain. But Sobek still has a dash in hand. Knocks up the Ganesha. And now is warring himself towards the tower. Knocks him into the tower. Thanatos hovering over onto the wing as big damage comes out onto Ganesha. Finding the kill. Horrific Emblem goes out just to negate some of the damage in hand on the Thanatos. But Execute doesn't care. Does he go back in for it? Is he not confident? He sees the Thanatos, he sees the Thor, wants to pull away, is not willing to trade 1-for-1 for support. And honestly, what a great call on his part, but this Thor is hungry, going in for this Apollo, almost called him Athena. Chiron's gonna secure the kill here with an ultimate of his own. Now looking for this Thanatos, you can't get away! Wrecking Cloudjic, along with Speedy, finding significant kills. Now the attention goes over towards this Gold Fury. We're just hoping for a Thoth to come in with his own ultimate. Instead, we're already looking about half HP. Sobek pulls off trying to ward off the... Why am I talking over myself? Who knows? Can the Thoth find a way to stop this? Doesn't want to look for it. Templar Tyrant is here to stop it. That Osiris providing such great pressure at level 13, but now with a large portion of his health chunked, it looks like Thoth has to pull away with the beads. Dharmic Pillars comes out once again. How this fight started in the beginning. Chiron cleaning up yet another kill. King's Court now with a 7-2, but have many members back up, including that Apollo crashing in. Tries to get CC off, trying to look for kills, dashes further just to kind of extend out the potential here. But Chiron's still alive. Can Sobek survive this? Finds a kill onto Sobek from the Apollo. Templar Tyrant still alive. Thanatos finds the kill onto Loyor. Now because he finds it onto the Chiron, dashes beneath the tower, misses the scythe, and they're gonna be safe. What an incredible turn of events.
Yeah, wow. That was that was great by Chiron being able to get out of there. Thor trying to catch out the Thanatos, making Thanatos use his ult. Yeah, I'm just surprised that Chiron got out, really. He was in there. I'm surprised Sobek was the only casualty there. I at least saw 2 people low down there, over there. So that good for them. Good for them.
Incredible. I mean, we were saying, both of us admitted, Yo-Yo, you and I both said that the King's Court seemed to have a strong draft going into this. We respected what was shown by the Food Fighters, but the King's Court had a lot of things just kind of clicking from them off the bat. Now we're seeing that progress quite well here into this mid game. They've been securing objectives, they found quite a few kills, and they turned an 1,000 gold lead into a 5,000.
Yeah, and yeah, getting that Gold Fury was massive. I was surprised that the Thoth didn't at least try for something. I don't think he used his ult at all in that fight. So that was a very interesting call, because I think that ult would have at least helped a little bit.
Dharmic Pillars are out. Kurno looking for a safe way out of this. Has ultimate in hand. Might just have to use it here. Leaving the Sobek behind. Apollo takes the sky. Both ADCs are up. And Kurno, who, I don't know, is just trying to survive this onslaught coming from the Thanatos. Beautiful wall! Setting up perfectly for Charon to get on out of here. Back in the background here on the duo side, Sobek will go down. Finding that kill 1 for 1, but you gotta say, kind of prefer finding that kill onto the jungle, as our jungle on the side of King's Court takes to the sky, looking for a crash down into that mid lane, finds good damage onto the mage, but it gets responded onto by an Aegis. Has to find his way out of that tower now. Can Chiron clean it up? Does not seem likely. Ganesha on the side here, but it seems as if they are safe.
And then they got the Aegis out of the Thoth there, which was very massive. I'm sure they would have much preferred getting a kill over that Aegis, but at least they did get that Aegis off. Yeah, this Chiron is paying dividends. It is doing its thing. I mean, look at the player damage, 8,147. He's rotating. He's doing a good job. I think this Chiron is really just going ham this match.
I mean, it's what you can expect. Whenever a Chiron performs well, they become kind of like that building block. They become that essential piece of the composition for these teams. These hunters just do so much for these teams. And speaking of hunters, look at the difference between Cherno and Apollo.
Yeah, Churn has a full item on this Apollo, and then look at the level differential as well between the ADCs.
Yeah, that level difference is quite significant. Now we're having a little bit of a stutter on the side of our stream. Our production, the wonderful Raptor, will get control of it here very quickly. Speaking of quickly, done already. And we are back into the game. So like looking for that pluck, can't quite find it. Now we're looking at a kind of game state here where the King's Court have found a significant lead, and now they're trying to translate that into the end game here. How exactly they do so seems to be up to the Sobek, finding a pluck onto the Thoth, followed up by the stun. Massive damage, but that Thanatos is into the sky here, looking for the Sobek on return, trading out 1 for 1. That's the big thing for this Sobek is he's willing to take those trades 1 for 1 any day here. Meanwhile, Ganesh just getting absolutely demolished by the damage coming out from the King's Court. That double ADC composition just proving just how much damage goes against these supports.
Yeah, this I was saying it earlier. I'm gonna say it again. This Chiron is just paying dividends. And then also look at the ADC builds. He's now 2 items ahead of this Apollo and has a 4-level lead. Apollo just backed, so no, he didn't. Never mind. I saw he was backing. I guess he canceled it. He's gonna go grab that shield buff.
The score gets sold here in the mid lane. This Thanatos versus the Thor. Thor tries to pull away. Of course, King's Court finds a Gold Fury, but underneath the tower, Speedy gets picked up by the Noxus. Major bounty going down. You can feel a gap in my knowledge here. That Thor still builds up quite a significant bounty with all those assists, right?
Well, I don't believe so. I think it's based off of kills. But I think, yeah. I mean, this Than is if something is going good for this Food Fighters team, it is the Than. This Than is 5-2. He's doing his thing. He's doing all he can. So yeah, if there's anything that they can say that they're like, oh, it's that
Dharmic Pillar's coming out into a good wrap-up onto the Cherno. Beats get popped, heads into the wall. Now Sobek in an ultimate of his own as a response, just trying to delay the aggression coming out from the Food Fighters so close to their own tower here. The question of the day is the Stygian Beacon. Both teams want it. Neither side wants to give it up. Silence comes out from the Ganesha, blinked into the wall, coming on from the Odin. This is their turn to turn it around. Food Fighters, can you do it? Chiron looking low, both ADCs not able to find as much damage as they may be wanting to, but Thanatos is going to chase it out, finds a kill into Wrecking Logic. Now is the question into the mid lane once again. Odin going down to the side of Cherno. Templar finding a kill underneath the mid lane. This Thanatos coming back to what seems to be a failed fight. Finds 1 kill, but in return loses 2, and the Stygian Beacon.
Yeah, you know, I guess they could say that they did get that Chiron. He did have a bounty on him. He did that is his first death after getting 6 kills, but I still would much prefer getting the Thoth and the Odin, and then also the Stygian. So, and then they also, I believe, are just gonna get they do
get the Pyromancer there. Ganesha was not able to steal it from them. So that means yet another objective in the hands of the King's Court.
Yeah, King's Court is just winning this objectives game. I mean, they've gotten every gold so far. They've gotten that Pyro. I mean, look at the XP and gold difference. I mean, they have a 6,722 gold difference. That is massive.
And it's mounting higher and higher with every moment here. That Pyromancer is a major objective to go their way. As we swing around into these 20-minute marks, our ADCs are soon going to be hitting level 20. In fact, Cherno's already there. With that, we've got finished off starter items with that mannequin, and soon to be onto that bluestone as well. The damage is just going to absolutely ramp significantly.
Yeah, and indeed. I mean, this churn has been also very big. The Chiron has been really good, but this churn has been doing his thing. I mean, he's had a level lead on Apollo since the beginning of the game, it feels like. So this churn has really been doing good. Oh, they're trying to catch out this Osiris. Osiris ults away, and I think he will just get away.
Yeah. Cyrus looking very, very safe right now. I mean, Odin versus Cyrus already is a bad matchup due to the fact that his passive allows him just to walk through the wall here, meaning that it's kind of hard just to lock him down. And even still, we've got the full weight of the King's Court just waiting in that left-hand wing here. Cherno, of course, with that global ultimate can come in whenever they like. And so the Food Fighters have to be careful here. Wall comes on down. They're looking for the Sobek, but gets returned onto by a shield buff here, making it to where they can go on through with that Spectral. Now, the question is, do the Foo Fighters want to keep on chasing it? It seems like Pluck comes on out, looking for this Ganesha here. You can see those ADCs just melting with that beautiful setup coming out from Thor. Stun returns onto Sobek. He gets on out with the CC immunity coming from Chiron. Just fine. Pluck goes underneath the tower. Look at that thug! Charging up the beam, but can't find a significant return onto those been by him, but finds it onto Sobek nonetheless. Will go down to the Osiris. Now the question is, where is the Apollo? He's over in that left lane. Can the Odin get out? Uses his blink to find some safety, and Apollo's left up to clear the lane over here on left, looking for that tier 2. Fire Giant getting pulled up by the King's Court.
Ooh, yeah, I mean this Apollo, that's what you don't like whenever you see an Apollos in casual. They often go for this split push game right here, and they're just gonna go in here and they're just gonna get this fire. And so, I mean, I think it really only would have been
looking for the steal. King's Court do secure the Fire Giant. Stun goes out onto Odin in return. Look at that health bar completely melted. Has the shield or has the wall to try to save himself, but still goes down. This Cherno is too far ahead.
Yeah, and then look at this gold difference and XP difference, both plus 8,000. If this Apollo was going to split push, I would have liked to seen him at least try and go for that Phoenix, because they were doing fire. There's no way they were going to come back and contest. I remember they were all on there, so I think that Apollo just getting just that T2 tower. I mean, it's good he got the tower, but at the end of the day, I would have liked to seen at least a Phoenix out of him there, if he was going to split push.
Yeah, Apollo could have certainly looked for more. He is that very safe god. He is kind of one of the best split pushers in this game. And seeing him thus far, he hasn't really been able to make that significant impact into the team fights. Finding that tier tower is nice, but now the Food Fighters are facing down the King's Court with Fire Giants wrapped around all their waist, save for Sobek.
Yeah, and again, these level differentials, I mean, Osiris has a 2-level lead. Chiron has a 1-level lead, and Apollo did catch up, which is good for him. I did notice that after he did that jungle, he did at least get.
Oh my goodness, the Ganesha, the tower, it's all falling down. This could be a move in for the end game here. I was thinking for a moment, they're just gonna take a tier 2, no big deal, but here's Thor crashing down in that backline, looking for the phone, just missing it, but finds it with a stun to secure it in the end. Now Thanatos is trying to save his life, but Speedy's just closing off the gap here. Link comes out to save himself. Thanatos still alive, Bird goes down, attention turns towards the tier 2 over into the mid lane. Sobek looking low, gets picked up by the Thanatos. Now it's just a question of, can they survive the onslaught coming out from these ADCs? That Thor wall has been so impactful.
Yeah, this Thor has been doing his thing. He did have a little rough early start in sense of kill wise. Like he was 1, 2, and 8. So, I mean, I guess those 8 assists are very good, but again, that early game, I mean, he did get soloed by that Than, but he's making up for it in these team fights. I mean, he's going in, he's doing his thing, getting
Dharmic Killers coming out. Beads in response, stun out comes out from the Thor. They're trying to find a kill here with Odin and the Ganesha. Apollo comes in to clean it up. Nice job from this Apollo here. He finds 2 for the use of 2 ultimates.
Yeah, I mean, they're just way pushed up there. I mean, that was a case of them getting greedy, you know? Back then when they were trying to get those Phoenixes in mid, the middle Phoenix, I noticed they were trying to hit that middle Phoenix when that tower was still up, and which was very interesting, to say the least. I'd like to see them go get that T2 tower, which they did, but it was a little later than I would have liked. Oh, Osiris has caught out. That
Apollo pushed far too high on that solo side.
Yeah, Apollo, whenever he caught that Thor and Churn too far pushed up, and he went, I'm gonna go do that too. I'm gonna go push up as well, and ended up getting him caught out.
Speaking of caught out here, they're trying to find these ADCs off by themselves, but instead, the aggression coming out from both of these tanks on the side of Team's Court, keeping that Chiron nice and safe. Cherno coming in, looking for some of the fight as well, just to get in position here. This Fire Giant's coming up very soon. Thanatos finds a Scythe, finds a pluck onto the Odin. These are just little pokes here and there, but start to mount more and more into significant damage here. The King's Court are looking for a pick. They're hungry. They're in waiting. The food fighters are just trying to stay alive. They want to see the King's Court make a mistake that they can capitalize upon.
Yeah, they really need the King's Court to make a mistake. They really need it. This fire is not do or die because it is not enhanced just yet, but they'd still at least like to have this fire.
This very well could be the final fire of the game, depending on just how many are lost. On either side, we are missing the left-hand Phoenix, the side of Food Fighters, and there's not many Tier 2 towers left up throughout the entirety of this game state. This Fire Giant could be significant, especially the longer they take. It's only 2 minutes and 30 seconds before it evolves in that enhanced Fire Giant, providing even more value to the team that takes it. Odin taking some significant swings out from the Osiris here. Thor just trying to find a way to get involved. It's been a game of pokes thus far, but Osiris wants to change it up. Looking for the Thoth, finds the target, but it gets met by an Aegis. Walls go out. Thoth trying to line up the perfect shot, but finds nothing but air, and not in the good way. Now the Odin gets returned upon as Thanatos goes up into the sky. Cannot find the Cherno. The nerves are getting to them as Apollo tries to just break up the fighting, knocking Sobek into the air. Finds CC immunity coming from Chiron. Now the big poke comes into the Sobek man himself as the rest of the team abandons him below the tower. Trading out now 1 for 1, but Thanatos wants to make it 1 for 2. Overextending himself too far, trying to look for that Chiron once again, gets turned upon. Osiris looking for the Ganesha, finds it. Now it's 4 members of the King's Court left alive versus the 2 on the side of Food Fighters, and Toth and Apollo both don't have ultimates available to their side. Cherno can come in whenever he wants.
Yeah, Thoth using his ultimate there and missing is so crucial right there. I think that could just be, I don't want to say it's the move that cost them per se, but it
Could have been
definitely
the move
could.
to save them.
Yeah, it could have been the move to save them and trying to get that fire
Uses it
giant.
to pick up the Thor. There's a world where he could have gone to save this Fire Giant, but finding a kill nonetheless is big here. This is going to be yet another Fire Giant going the way of the King's Court.
Yeah, these fire giants are stacking up. Again, this gold difference plus 10,000. Gold it's getting to the point where if we keep getting more and more late, gold's going to mean less and less. Like they're just going to be full builds, but the 3K pots are always going to be massive. Like that side, you have Churn full build, Apollo full build. Chiron is full build. Thoth is not full build. Osiris is full build. Odin is not full build. That's that gold difference right there. You know, that's that's that you know, and Oris also has full build. Dan does not. These are gonna be coming in huge. Like the like the item damage and these passives are so massive to the game. It's really that. I'd like to. They're going for gold. They're gonna get. They're gonna try.
Strange goal theory here, isn't it? How much aggression the Food Fighters are putting out for it, leaving themselves open for the assault coming on from the King's Court. Does look like Thoth might be safe for right now. Cherno can't quite get his way on in there. Hold that thought. I'm about to sneeze.
Yeah, I mean, them going for that gold is very interesting. They got fire. I would like to see them at least try and siege, you know, at least try and get some towers or something to go along with that. And like that tier 2 on the right side is still up. I'd like to see them at least try and go for that. It looks like they're going to go for the left Phoenix. Than is on the right side, so he will not be here for that currently if they just go in. Yeah, but they do not know, and this is going to lead to Than being able to come back.
Both sides now looking on this left Phoenix once again. Big Pluck comes out, met by a wall. Look at that Thanatos over on the side, just trying to find a way in as Thor takes to the sky once again with that Anvil of Dawn, ready to crash down upon. Looks like the Food Fighters aren't too confident here, scared of that Thor. They get pushed off the bird, having it go to the side of the King's Court once again. Fire Giant still around that wisp. Gonna allow them to have a bit more HP 5 here, getting that health back up before their second assault. No one down inside of Food Fighters quite yet. This could still be very dangerous for the King's Court as the Dharma Pillars come on out. Massive ultimates like this result on kills onto the Sobek, onto the Chiron. Odin still alive. They find a kill onto the Osiris. Big turnarounds coming out from the Food Fighters. Cherno looking low. That Thor out for the kitchen, not gonna make it back home. Thanatos can't quite make it in time. All 5 members of the Food Fighters yet live. Just about every member of the King's Court down as this assault into the mid lane begins.
Yeah, wow, yeah, that was a great defense by them. That's something that Odin does bring whenever you hit that late game. His defense is very excellent. But
Cherno all by himself here, doesn't get the wall, but the stun comes out, gets met by a CC immunity coming out from the beads. That Midgardian male slowing down the Cherno. Can he make it? Pops the egg, it's just a secure, but the death side picks him up! Pseudo deicide as we're looking for a Titan Bowl coming up from the Food Fighters. Could this be the turnaround, folks? Thanatos finishes off the Titans from downtown. Who could have seen it coming?
Yeah, that Phoenix play, them trying to go for that siege instead of going just for that tower, going for that safe, they tried to get aggressive there, and it led to them just losing the game.
I
Yeah,
mean, what can you say, Yo-Yo? What can you say?
I think I'm in shock, honestly.
Yeah, my brain's running through trying to think about what to talk about. I think it's like you said, Yo-Yo, just that amazing defense coming out from the Odin Wall, from the Ganesha pillars. They just all paid off so much into those final moments when they finally saw their opportunity. They read that red thread and just followed it all the way home into the Titan pit.
Yeah, that was wow. I'm still in shock. That's yeah. That I think I think the King's Court had it in the bag, honestly, and then they just fumbled it. They like look at the KD differential. Thanatos was the only one positive in on that other side, and then everyone except for the Thor and the Sobek were negative, and Sobek dying, his deaths were not bad. Whenever he was going in, he was getting at least a trade every time he died. So yeah, that defense really just was great by the Food Fighters.
I think the big thing there too is that we may have, questioned it early on, but Apollo kind of consistently finding those moments to split push did allow for that setup in the end. I think for me was really truly off the backs of these major ultimates, Odin, Ganesha, off of the solid play to kind of always stay involved as much as he could from Apollo. Even if it was just finding a tower, they knew they were behind. They were allowing Fire Giant to go the side of TKC, but they knew they were just finding little wins here and there. It resulted into a big shift when Thanatos could finally find those kills off the back of his team. And that's how it ended up. A massive turnaround to finish off game number 1. Folks, we will be right back with game number 2. The results can be explosive, as you can see. No one can tell you what may occur, but we'll just have to wait and find out. Please be patient as we go off to break. Welcome, 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 welcome on back. I am still reeling from that incredible game number one. It's how did that happen? Many may be questioning it. I don't fully know. Nonetheless, we're ready to head into picks and bans here very shortly. Before that, my name's Really Reed. This is Yo Yo Tap Out.
Mhm.
And we're, of course, joined on production today by Raptor. This is the Shallows division of the QSL. Kings Court versus Foo Fighters. Let's hop into those picks and bans. Yo, yo, it's your time, man. How are you feeling after that game, number one?
That was TKC had it in their hands and they just lost it. I hope that they don't lose morale from that. I think that game they did everything right except for that final push. They were just they were winning objectives, they were winning lanes. They just messed up at 39 minutes and it costed them the game.
A swing like that is not unprecedented, but boy, is it rare to see. It really shows that while Food Fighters were down, they weren't truly out. In terms of this picks and bans thus far, nothing out of the ordinary. We're seeing traditional bands. We're seeing traditional picks like this Hachiman. And folks, I've gone ahead. We've got the predictions are live. Last game went the way of Food Fighters. This game, it could be very one-sided, or it could be explosively in the hands of Food Fighters off a win like that.
Yeah, them picking up that win, that was that was a game. they 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 played for that late game. They got that late game. They just that defense. That defense is very good. Same bands as the last game. But this time Sobek is actually going on Food Fighters, and I believe he was on the King's Court last time. So that's interesting. And then the Aries.
Ooh. Before we get too one-tracked onto this Aries here, Yo-Yo, I think you mentioned the bands are mostly the same. I think you'd be happy to see the Thanatos removed from this board.
Oh, I didn't. I'm very happy of that. That fan was. I'm pretty sure he was the only one that was positive last game, and that didn't sit right with me.
I did
No,
say
no,
right.
I'm a caster. I'm not supposed to be biased, but that fan just something about it, something about it. That Ares I think is a very good pick. Going into that Sobek with Sobek dash, Thoth dash, I think that Ares pick is a very very good one. If pick
Yeah, and I like to see coming out from a support on this King's Court, they're proving that they enjoy these aggressive supports. They want to be racking on that damage. Just how much we saw Sobek on the side of King's Court rush in, set up these amazing plays, and then die for them. You know, if you're trading out one for one, a support for a jungle is a wonderful trade.
Yeah, he was doing that all game. Like if you look at the stat line, you're thinking, like I think he was four. You're gonna see the 9 deaths. Okay, you're gonna see the 9 deaths, and you're gonna think, oh, but that's something that the stats ain't gonna tell you. But that game, every single time that he died, he's always getting that trade. He was always getting something for his death, which is just so huge. He was winning those trades.
Yeah. Trades going the way of the King's Court time and time off the back of their Guardian support. Daji will be the first ban here in the second round of bans coming on the side of Food Fighters. I like this Odin ban coming out from the King's Court.
Yeah, that Odin cage, that Odin late game was picking up again as we predicted. That Osiris was running that lane, but the second late game kicked in, that Odin started to be a massive help on the Food Fighters and was huge on that final defense that led to their victory.
Absolutely. Now, I would like to take a second here. Looking at the overall draft compositions, we're seeing some very interesting turnabouts here on the side of Food Fighters. They seem to be kind of mimicking what they saw the King's Court did. Perhaps they had their god stolen from them last time. Perhaps they just, really are feeling the Cherno this time around. But that duo lane is an exact inverse of what we saw prior. And that Thoth performed very well, missing some ultimates here, but still performed excellently.
Ooh, Kuzumbo solo. That's so on the bars of gods that I dislike heavily. You know, we got the Than down all the way down there. On the inverse of that, on the love god, Kuzumbo is very high up there for me. I love Kuzumbo. I love that Nene Kappa. I think the Food Fighters have won me over in this match.
So you're liking this Food Fighters draft. There's certainly quite a bit of CC available to them, and they still have access to that global ultimate coming out from Cherno. We do see Kukulane hovered over on the side of the King's Court. Personally, not a god I love, but I understand the kind of evaluation now with the possibility coming out from him. Tsukiyomi locked in. That's going to be the full composition of the King's Court here. Pretty obvious where each member is going. No one really stepping out of a role here with something funky. Tsukiyomi looks very potentially nice here with that counter knockback against Wheelish.
Now, we were just talking about that dislike bar. Willix is, she's like, she's a little lower than the middle for me. She's a little lower, but she's not Thanatos tier.
Yo, you need to come onto like a podcast at some point and just come up with us with the exact tier list of what you like and dislike. Okay,
Just have
production's informing me that he's already done this before, sending it off to him. So this is a thing that's very well established.
Yeah, I have a very well established like and dislike of gods. There's gods that I don't like. My team will try to get me to play Thanatos. It won't happen. They gotta stop trying. Yeah, something to watch out for is this Ares. This Ares is going to be able to stop Sobek dash, Thoth dash, Kuzumbo dash, Churn dash, and then I don't. Does it stop the Willix's Suko? I do not. It does stop.
Yes.
Oh, so limiting that. So I think this Ares has use in this whole enemy matchup. The Agni's always going to be able to poke. Cullen's a lane bully, but if Kuzumbo can get you through that wave, it hurts. It hurts.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite the potential here coming out from that solo lane, Kukulin, that lane bully, as you're saying, versus Kuzumbo. Now, this is time for people like Final K to really show off this knowledge. They're saying Guardians are OP for the solo lane, and Food Fighters are ready to prove it. And I'd also just like to say, this could be a Sobek into the solo lane as well. You never know. I would love to see it personally.
That would be a very good watch. I'd have a great time. Yeah, that's Sobek. If I see a Sobek solo this game, I would be ecstatic. That'd be a great watch. I think that whoever it is, Kuzma or Sobek, I think they're going to build that new conduit with that new passive. Well, not new, but buffed.
I heard it was broken before, so in some ways it's new. It's like we never had it before. And with Kuzumbo bringing that out, there's a great bit of damage potential there. I think the same, perhaps for Sobek, I think obviously he struggles more with that early game. I know you prefer overall jungle analysis, and if you don't mind, every once in a while, I'd like to put my cap on, the analysis cap over here into the solo lane. Sobek rocks. Kuzumbo rocks. They provide great knockup potential for this Wheelish and great amount of CC to keep their backline safe.
Yeah, they're doing very good. Make sure Sobek and Willix is a dynamic I've seen through the ages since I first played Smite. Yeah, I've been seeing Sobek and Willix. It's a tale as old as time. If I see a Sobek, if I see an Willix, I usually see a Sobek. It's just such a dynamic duo.
Yeah, I mean, a double knock-up kick kit performs so excellently for a Wheelish's ultimate. And this is an ultimate that has more than just one use. Yes, you can use it to blow up squishies. Yes, you can use it as a steroid to power yourself with faster attack speed, higher amounts of power in hand, and also it's a great way of plucking unaware supports out and just completely decimating their health pools to where they can not really be as involved as they want. And with gods like Ares, I actually didn't think about this before I said it. This is one of those moments where you just flood out your consciousness and you realize you stumble upon what they were thinking. Oh my goodness. Oh, Wheelers versus Ares. You pluck out the Ares. What is he going to do?
Oh, that's true. He doesn't have any getaway. So it's really, as long as that Willix is surprising this Ares, it's going to be detrimental to this Ares. But if this Ares can somehow make sure he's placing down those wards, making sure he's aware, I think that is going to be very detrimental to this game. It's very heavily, I think it's making sure you have the vision versus not having the vision, which I
Yeah,
guess is a lot of games.
I think game number one, we were both very King's Court coded. We very much enjoyed their composition. We liked what they brought from the draft. And we thought they were going to win the game, and the game very well close to it. Folks, by the way, predictions are alive if you want to bet on either team, but I have to put my stakes on it with Food Fighters. They may have not looked so great game number one for the majority of it, but they were able to bring it through. Production, can you repeat what you just said to me? Alrighty, folks, we are getting ready to go here in just a moment. But before we do, Yo-Yo, who are you feeling the best with right now? Which side do you give your favor to?
Probably those Food Fighters. I think I'm going to agree with the Food Fighters. I think as long as they really them just having those knockups. Thoth is always good though. It wasn't that great last match, but I think they just won the draft with his churn. Again, we didn't see as much last game in the rotation period, but if he can get those rotations off, he's so massive for that.
Yeah, I mean, effectively, no matter where you are, whenever you have a Chernobog on the team, you're walking into a 2v1. Chernobog can come in, swoop in, save the day. You've got excellent CC coming out from Sobek and Kuzenbo. You have one of the best plucks in the game coming out from a Wheelish. And you have solid damage both in the hands of Thoth, Cherno, and of course the jungle, who's going to be looking for either the Ares or for a squishy in the back line. Meanwhile, on the King's Court, I don't think we should discredit them at all. This is a overall draft here that is still very traditionally strong. I just don't think they've really played their hand any one way or the other. But, folks, we are ready to hop into game number 2. Let's go ahead and see it here in the Shallows Division, King's Court versus the Food Fighters. As a refresher, game number 1 did end up going the way of the Food Fighters, but it was after a large period of time, losing both of the first 2 Fire Giants, and it was only at the base of their Phoenix they finally turned things around. What we're hoping to see here from the Food Fighters is perhaps a little bit of a quicker start. What do you think, Yo-Yo?
Yeah, I would really like to see the Food Fighters pick up before 39 minutes. I think, though, I mean, I guess it's a winning strategy, but
Win's a win.
a win is a win, but I'd like to see them do a little more earlier. And ADC again going this mannequins, getting that early pressure. I think it's so big, and he's gonna go try and
He's going for it again. He's
again.
going for it again. They do recognize it. He can't quite find it, but there's a world. They do pick up the Ares here with that pluck, putting him in a bad position here, but without many abilities here, without much in-hands damage, Cherno just kind of took the brunt of it until he finally could just turn around. Now both of them looking a little bit low, but Ares just needs to kind of recover some of this health here.
Yeah, I mean, Ares stepped up a little far. I thought Hachi did a good job of backing away. Trying to get that steal didn't work again, but that mannequins does provide that ability to be able to steal.
Yeah.
That Sobek missing the pluck there, getting caught out.
Yeah, I mean, so far, there's been a lot of kind of back and forth here into the dual lane. No side has really expressed that they are ready for that kill quite yet. But overall, when you look towards these builds, is there anything that stands out? Is there anything at all? 'Cause I think I see something I'm a little bit confused about. Lane starting with the physical.
I am. My brain is going.
Lane
the
starting with the physical start against this Kuzenbo.
Oh, he did. He did indeed. He went Iron Mail instead of that. That's interesting. Um, yeah, I guess he's just trying to go for that Mystic Mail start for Cullen because it is so big, but I think those defenses for Magic would just do so much more in that winning lane.
I think what we could say for him is that at least by starting physical, we know that he should have the advantage early on since he is a lane bully. He's going to give up some of that potential pressure he could have, but it does result in him having less to worry about once Awilish does come in. But now, with that, both of them are looking rather low. Goes into the rage form. Kuzenbo, no dash available, will go down as first blood despite the fact that Kukulane had no physical defense. And if only Kuzenbo can live for a second longer, there's another kill over here in the dual lane. Ares trying to run it down, may just do so, but yes! Finds it true, trading off an ADC for an ADC. Sobek has a pluck coming back up. Finds it onto the Ares. I don't think he quite has a kill here, but I respect the gumption.
Yeah, I mean, Sobek completely running out of mana there. So he went for that dash and I don't know. That dash was an interesting choice. I don't think he had the chance to kill there, but just trying to delay, I guess.
And it happens all the time, right? Sometimes you like think you're ready to kill. You're like, oh, if I just land a 1 into the knock-up, and then we're good to go. But, of course, sometimes mana just restricts your ability to play the game. Means that you have to hold on to that brakes a little bit longer, and that's the case over here for the Sobek. Meanwhile, over into the solo lane, seems like Colane is looking for a back here very soon. It's going to be a question to see whether or not he wants to go for that magical defense, pivoting off the mystical mail, or if he wants to finish it off first.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting sight whenever he backs. They're pushing up right now, not realizing that the Awilix is right there. The Awilix noticed that the Hachiman has stepped out.
Hachiman with the ultimate takes the CC immunity and just books it. That's one of the great things about Hachiman, isn't it?
Yeah, Hachi's ult is so good. And then I believe he also stole the shield, which is so massive. Make sure that... my bad. I just saw the churn get it, so I guess he didn't, but it's...
CC immunity coming out with the beads onto the Thoth. Doesn't have a dash, it would seem. Maybe just now finds a way on out. Awilish in the back line here trying to clean it up. Loses the Thoth, but finds a Tsukiyomi nonetheless. Why is it that Thoth is a name that is making my brain stutter? Speaking of stuttering, yeah, the stutter your steps there in that mid lane. Careful of the Awilish. Both of them looking at each other while the Agni is quite low. If any misplay occurs there, could be the death of our mid lane on the side of King's Court. Goes ahead, takes it back, resets.
Yeah, and this Cullen, even with Mystic Mel, is just destroying this Kuzenbo right now. It's like... it's very interesting to watch. I mean, like, you can see the health differentials. I mean, he has all the pressure. He has all the wave clear. I think this Mystic Mel, though is an interesting choice, I think it is paying off.
I mean, there's a great deal of damage coming out from it. And that's the biggest value for this Kukulin here, is that he's able to clear this wave far faster than the Kuzenbo can.
Yeah, getting that clear off, and then they're just gonna split camps. Yeah, I mean, that split's always good. Right now, it's a poking battle between the Thoth and the Agni. Those are two very high pokers, and seeing who can win the poke battle. Again, this Cullen ulting in, trying to get all that.
We're shifting
And
closer and closer to this 8-minute mark, to this 12-minute mark. Is there anything particular on the field that's standing out to you so far before this availability for these team fights begins to erupt?
so last game, last game it was the King's Court that I was a little iffy about jungle clear. I was thinking, oh, this and that, but this time it is the actual inverse. They actually decided to trade. It is actually Suki who is ahead and is making sure that his stuff is down. Because as
Yuki
you
on
see
the
him,
wing here. Does he go in with the ultimate? I don't know if Thoth has an Aegis available. No, he has bees instead. Would have loved to see if Speedy would want to just go for that fight. Seeing that the red buff is down, they no longer have an opportunity there, but they're still coming around that corner just trying to find something. Do they hear the Wheelish? They meet head to head into the jungle, tries to find anything, just hits him with a bit of poke, has to retreat, pulling back. No great turn here for the King's Court.
yeah, I mean that's Suki. He tried to do something. He's trying to be patient. He was trying to do that, but it just led to nothing. He's doing a good job of making sure his back, like his camps, are cleared. His red just came up, and he's instantly going back to doing it again. That was something last game that I was pointing out that he wasn't doing. So yeah, it's interesting. It's like they swapped junglers. Like the Willix is now doing that, like, because you can see she's not doing that red buff. Well, she's going to do that red mask now, but it did take a second. But she was doing it on cooldown last time, and so it's very interesting to see this matchup. And then Suki ults through
Ultimate
the
coming
wall.
out. Yes, looking for this Kuzenbo, keeping the pressure high onto the rim cleaner. May not realize that a wheel is just around that corner. Looks for the kill here, finds it onto Speedy, finds the trade there. Perhaps not worth for our jungler on the side of King's Court.
Yeah, that's huge. He thought he saw a weak little Kuzumbo. He didn't realize that that a Willix was right there in that jungle. And then here's Duo Lane. This trade's interesting. He
Oh my goodness. The damage coming out from Ares is incredible, but in return, Bussy finds a way to bust on open on Aloydi.
I mean, Butsy just couldn't stay there. I mean, good goodness. Wow. Yeah, you know, Hachiman built that mannequins, which you usually associate with that early pressure. You usually associate with that, you know, way early pressure, early clear. But this game, he is not having it at all. He's actually just getting completely out pressured by this turn, which is interesting. And then
Oh.
Thoth, ooh.
Maybe could have gone for it knowing the dash is in hand. Didn't want to commit quite yet, but with the dash used, just tried to find it, couldn't quite land it. Wheelers gets turned on into the jungle here. Sobek and Turner come around that corner. Smart from speed to kind of slow down his roll here. Not trying for anything too crazy here. Oh, in mid! Cusco, dude, crazy.
He thought he saw something. the the agony was low, but
Maybe a bit overzealous for that one there.
but that is an agony. The agony was low, but that is an agony. Agony has infinite ult. He has infinite that. He has that dash. He has that. So I think just dashing onto him was.
Yeah, trying to overcommit there. Just trying to break up the Agni back, maybe find a kill unawares. Did not result into much payoff for this Thoth, actually dying to the tower and resulting for another kill the side of TKC. Now, much like as we were kind of speaking before in the game number one, we are seeing TKC find more and more of a lead, now mounting closer and closer to that 1K mark, just about 800 gold right now. Nothing too significant, but it is kind of an indicator of how this game is resulting so far. 5 versus 4, Stygian Beacon coming up in 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see if they can try and make a push, like maybe see this Cucullin try and rotate to try and get this Stygian, and then if they get the Stygian, let's say they win the fight, they can get gold. Because this Cucullin is just beating this Kuzumbo. he went Mystic Melt into that Prophetic. So now he is getting some magical defense, but it's not necessarily like the magic defense I was expecting. I was thinking of a more actual, just completely defense item, but hey, Prophetic is still a great item.
I'm just I wish we could get a very clear-cut picture of what exactly is happening in the soul lane. Does Kuzenbo not have the damage to clear or to keep up with this Kukul lane? What exactly is happening here to where so often Templar Tyrant is just getting away with being healthier, dealing more damage, having a lead on farm and gold, and yet somehow building against himself, not finding a way to have much magic defense into this build here, means that Rim Cleaner should have a chance of just consistently 1v1ing him. Speaking of, we may be seeing that turn occur just now. Rim Cleaner at max HP, Tyrant already at half. It's not until he's rage triggered that he really started to turn that around. Maybe this is tidings spelling out before us that soon things are going to go spell worse and worse into that soul laner if we don't see magic defense on Colin soon. Speaking of spelling worse here, Wrecking Logic has the full attention of this Wheelish, pops the beads to save himself, dashes on out of here, but Cherno coming in from nowhere with that ultimate abound does get turned on by the Tsukiyomi quite quickly here. Now facing down the situation here, Speedy has to find a way on out of here. Sobek on that corner gets stunned out by the Agni, but Pluck still finds Speedy true. Now it's 2v1, Agni just trying to find the support that he can, but Stygian Beacon seems to be going the way of the Food Fighters this time around.
Yeah, this is a big change from game one. They're putting in a lot more pressure, and they're doing a lot better. Though again, that gold is still leaning on that TKC side. I think these team fights and the XP is still leaning on the TKC side, but this team fight, that team fight really leaned towards the Food Fighters there. Heavily leaned on the Food Fighters.
Yeah, Food Fighters are finding a way to make this game very different thus far. Game number one, they weren't looking so hot, but now here they are after the back of just a major morale victory, turning it around from what seemed like nothing. And now it's a very even game. It's like an entirely different two teams stepped out onto the field.
Indeed, this is a very interesting game. I mean, last game the carry differential was so massive. I mean, before 20 minutes, I think it was at like 19 something. The Aloy was actually at 20, and I so that shows like at 13 he had, I think he was 16, probably 13 around this point in the last game. So this ADC is definitely keeping up, which is, he's doing a lot better this game is what I'm trying to say.
I mean, certainly there is a bit of worry in mind because he is about a level and a half behind the Hachiman thus far. But overall, across the board here, Food Fighters are doing better. Hachiman likely to get out of this situation even without a tier 1 tower. That's just the value of that god's escape and mobility here. And now, with that Stygian Beacon down, the question is, when can Food Fighters, when can King's Court move up for the Gold Fury? Seems like the attention goes over onto the solo lane here. Stun comes out onto Kuzenbo. Kuzenbo responds onto a dash of his own to try to stop some of the pressure coming out from the Tsukiyomi, but he's just too dang slowed. Can't find his way back in the tower. Finding his way back in the tower, though, comes in the Wheelish, leaping onto the Agni, wiping up another kill for her side, keeping the game even 6-6. Sobek, the other guardian on the side of the Food Fighters, looks for a pluck, finds it onto the air. He's just trying to keep him involved, get that root out by the Cherno. Now they're looking the way of the Gold Fury. 4 members of the Food Fighters able to swing off into that left-hand jungle. Response could come from Tsukiyomi, could come from the Hachiman, but with no ultimate on the side of Hachiman, it's most likely going to fall into the hands of Tsukiyomi. Already looking just about above half HP. Speedy walks into center stage, throws out the Caltrops, trying to get some good damage off into there. Hachiman now here. Red team Food Fighters do find the gold here, but a wish does go down. Looks like Sobek might be following soon after her. That's 2 the way of Food Fighters already down. This Gold Fury may have been a little bit too overconfident here. How will they keep up the pressure, though? If the King Courts can find more jungle to steal away, to invade upon, they can turn that Gold Fury into a major win for them. Speaking of Pyromancer,
Yeah, I was about to say I would like to see a pyro here, and they instantly went on it. There's that was very big of them because they did just lose gold, but they still have a gold lead. They still, like, as you see on the graph, after that gold.